Last game week we captained Salah and he scored 2 goals, and it feels even better that the alternatives blanked. The Egyptian's back on the shortlist this game week. He faces City at Anfield. Usually I'd say that's a difficult fixture, but the jury's out at the moment. The other premium option is Palmer. His fixture's alright against Villa at home, but it's Mbeumo who's got the easiest fixture against Leicester at home, and of course he's not a big hitter, so it is the fixture that gets him on the shortlist. It's not just that he's not a big hitter. If we take a look at his underlying stats, I'm going to make up a new phrase here. I'd say he's actually quite a small hitter. Whilst there's been an absolutely massive overperformance, 1.5 non-penalty expected return points per 90 minutes is really poor. But let's focus on the positives rather than the negatives. Salah and Palmer have got bang on exactly the same underlying stats, which means they're both just as promising as each other's, but Salah's overperformed much more. I keep saying week in, week out, there is going to be some regression there, and I'm still waiting for it from Salah. He's really overperforming. It is Salah who's got the form in his favour though. He's got 8 attacking returns in his last 5 game weeks with no blanks, and Palmer's just got 3 blanks in a row. When it comes to set pieces, Palmer and Mbeumo have the advantage. They're both set piece specialists on direct free kicks, indirect free kicks and corners. Salah doesn't get to take any of them, and all 3 players on the shortlist are on penalty duties for their respective clubs. Salah doesn't fare well on the probability section either. He's got the lowest anytime goal scorer odds and the lowest anytime assister odds. Despite Mbeumo not being a big hitter, he has got the highest chance of scoring. As for Palmer, he's got the best anytime assister odds, and he's got the highest chance of returning as well, but only by 2%. I do like the fact that Mbeumo's odds are weighted more towards goals, because of course you get more points for a goal than you do for an assist, but it is only a couple of points more, and I would rather have what Palmer has and have a 6% higher chance of getting an assist and a 2% higher chance of returning, so I'd say that Palmer edges it, but only just. He does take a bigger lead on the points projections. He's got the highest overall on Fantasy Football Fix with 7.7 and the highest on FPL Review with 7 as well. Before we move on, it is worth noting that Mbeumo is ahead of Salah on both data models. Now the next bit is quite important, I think. City have shipped a lot of goals recently, and that's due to Rodri's injury. I do think people are getting a bit carried away though. Look at Leicester's defensive numbers. I don't think City's defensive numbers are going to end up that bad. Let's be serious. Look at the players that they've got on the pitch. Look at the manager they've got. Yeah, they're not a really difficult fixture from an attacking perspective like they used to be, but that doesn't mean that they're still an easy fixture. It just means that they're easier than what they were. To be fair, if we take a look at the expected numbers, they are slightly worse than Villa's, and whilst Rodri's minutes are included in the figures, it is only 65 minutes out of the whole season so far. So we could argue that City's defence is at least a similar quality to Villa's, maybe even slightly worse right now, but if we take a look at the clean sheet odds, it's City who's got the best on the shortlist out of all the opponents, and all of them have to travel away from home. It's indisputable that Mbeumo's got the easiest fixture against Leicester. They're 19th for expected goals conceded, and 18th for goals conceded as well. Before we conclude, we're going to carry out a quick risk assessment. Whilst this video's been recorded, Liverpool haven't yet featured in Europe. I'm almost certain that Salah's going to play in that match. If he does, he'll get 4 days worth of rest, which I'd say is just about enough for him. The other 2 players get a week's worth of rest, and all 3 players have got reliable expected minutes, and Mbeumo's are slightly lower though. Now it's time to conclude. I'd say Mbeumo takes 3rd place. His underlying stats were far too underwhelming for me. Even with that easy fixture, it's not enough to sway me. With Salah, whilst I don't think City's a difficult fixture, I do think the data models could be a bit quicker at adapting. City's numbers have been slightly poorer than Villa's so far this season. I get we've got a full sample size of data from last season, which does carry a bit more weighting than 12 games? But still, I don't think he should be that far behind Palmer on the points projections, and certainly not behind Mbeumo. Even the clean sheet odds were a 3rd higher than Villa's. I think that's a little bit too much at the minute, but I might be wrong. I do agree with the data models somewhat though. While City's underlying stats are slightly worse than Villa's, obviously 38 matches last season is quite important. You've got the players on the pitch and the manager. I'd say that City's defence is of very similar quality to Villa's right now, but if I had to face City's defence or Villa's defence, in my opinion, I am slightly swayed more towards facing the Villa defence. Obviously, you've got the form of Salah right now. His overperformance is slightly more than Palmer's, and that does carry a little bit of weighting, and that does make the decision more difficult, but I think the best captain this game week is Palmer. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future captain picks.